What's cracking, y'all? We just got off a little 48-hour shredder in LA. We went down there to do some podcasting and also went to the release party for the new La Marzocco machine, the KB90. So there's a few new features on this machine and a few features that are borrowed from some of the other La Marzocco lineup and Mod Bar lineup. And one really awesome, my favorite feature, it might not be what you think, but we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the most glaring feature, the straight in and straight out portafilter. It's got this little thumb trigger that you push to pull the portafilter out, grindos, tamp, do the whole thing, and when you're ready to go, you slide that thing back in, pop it up, and you're good to go. This idea was based off the idea to improve ergonomics and remove that twisting motion, that bayonet mount that all the portafilters have, where you twist the portafilter to the side, lock it in, and pull it over.
There's a degree of me that is like, how do I extend, the body another 20, 25, 30 years that I'd love to still be making coffee? Well, these puck press things are interesting. The idea of lifting less jugs in a way makes those Uber milk things kind of interesting to look at too. Any amount of the automation that we're talking about right now and everything with even just not doing this, but doing this. Man, I want to do this job for the next 20, 30 years, at least. Like, how do I get there given I got this one body? So I'm open to them. Yeah.
Because of that design, the portafilters are actually a little bit different. It's the same 58mm size, but the ears are different. They don't have to be tapered because, again, you're not locking and twisting. They're just sliding straight in. Another cool feature that this machine has is an automatic steam purge. So whenever you remove the portafilter, the machine automatically purges itself, and not just by running hot water through it. First, it gives you a little blip of steam, and then it gives you some of the water. They did some testing, and apparently the steam makes it cleaner. I don't even care about the steam. I just love that it automatically purges for you. Who wants to purge? Who wants to hit the button? It's boring. I know who wants to purge. It's you home barista nerds that are like, don't take anything away from me. I respect that. Now when you clip the portafilter in and it's in its up position, it's still got a little jiggle or movement to it, which is erased when you hit the brew button. There's this little valve that lets some water in, and the water pressure presses down on this piston that locks the portafilter into place. Another potentially cool byproduct of the straight in, straight out move is that the gasket should theoretically last a little bit longer. There's less movement on it. There's the same pressure every time because you're not wrenching it in like the old bayonet system. And if you happen to have a little bit of coffee on the top of the portafilter basket, which you really shouldn't anyway, it seems like it wouldn't eat away at the gasket as much, again, because you don't have that twisting motion. It's of course got scales built into it, which I think is gonna be a feature we're gonna see on all of the new higher end machines from La Marzocco, and it borrows the drip prediction from the new Mod Bar AV. If you don't know what the drip prediction is, I'll link a video below where Scott from La Marzocco talks all about the drip prediction. Those are the heavy hitter features of the new machine, but it's got a couple nuggets built into the steam assembly as well. The first thing is you can change the steam valve from the front of the machine. The only reason you need to get into the top of the machine is to shut off that steam wand from the steam boiler. Just close that valve and then you can do a full valve replacement without taking anything off of the machine. It comes straight out of the front. You can do your thing, slide it back in. It's pretty cool because if you've ever had a steam wand fail mid-shift when you're super busy, they're a pain in the ass to change. They're not necessarily hard, but they're just kind of awkward. So to be able to do it from the front of the machine without taking everything apart is just a nice bonus. The steam wand itself's got a little bit of evolution in it. Some of the older Cool Touch wands are the stainless exterior, and then there's a plastic tube that runs down the center of them. This one is double-walled stainless, no plastic, you can hold it all day, it doesn't get hot, and it's just a little bit more robust, you know what I'm saying? Details. So my favorite feature of the machine is the name. KB90. If you know the La Marzocco line, the PB, the FB, all of those are initials for people's names, and KB stands for Kent Baca. He's one of the owners of La Marzocco, and Kent's one of my heroes. I met Kent years and years ago. We're both from small towns that are next to each other in the Central Valley, and he has been nice to me my whole journey through coffee. Before I owned a business, before I did anything cool in competition, he was just a genuinely nice guy. He gave me his phone number and said, hey, if you're ever back in the valley, hit me up and we can get coffee. And he would actually text me. He's like, hey, I'm back in the valley. You want to grab coffee? And that just, as a kid who loved fancy espresso machines, that just blew my mind. Years later, I told him about one of my fantasy machines and I wanted to build it using the old huge rocker switches from the old Lineas and FB70s. I think they discontinued them because they have this little glass panel on them and it can break and they can electrocute you and you can maybe die, I don't know. I don't know the story, I'm just making half that shit up. Anyway, he sourced 3 dead stock switches for me and brought them to me at a dinner that we went to and said, whenever you build your machine, these are for you. Again, just face melted. Thought it was really cool for La Marzocco to honor Kent with this machine. He's a huge part of espresso culture in the US, more so than most people know. That's a story to unpack at another time. But if you see Kent Baca in the streets, chuck him a deuce, you know what I'm saying? Just tip your hat to the man.
It's unbelievable. I never thought in 40 years that would ever happen. I never even dreamed of having a machine named after me. So I'm very, very honored, and I couldn't have dreamed up a better machine. I feel appreciated, humbled, speechless.
Are there possible downsides with a machine? Well, sure, anytime you introduce anything new to market, especially something that's got some new technology and more moving parts, there's the potential that more things will break. La Marzocco is known for building workhorses, so this doesn't concern me too much, but it's a real possibility. And here's the thing, you're not gonna get an unbiased review from me from La Marzocco stuff because I'm just a fan of their company. And you know, we use them in the shop. It's a loaded gun here, okay? One of the most common questions we got all night was, are you going to buy one of these? And the answer is no. I don't think you need to upgrade your machine every time to the newest model. I don't think you need to upgrade anything unless there's a pain point that's centered around what you have. If you're running a coffee shop, cash flow is a major concern, and the amount of cash out for a new machine doesn't always justify the incremental improvements that some of these machines provide. And if you're thinking about it, it really depends on how big of a jump you want to make. For us, moving from the Strata AV ABR, which is already packed full of features, it's got the built-in scales, it's got a lot of stuff going for it, and moving to the KB90 might not be the right move for us right now. Just because we're not immediately in the market to buy one doesn't mean I think that the R&D that they're doing and the new features aren't adding value. I think they are, because while it might not be worth it for someone to upgrade if they already have an awesome, expensive, functioning machine, it might be a really good option for someone who is just entering the coffee shop game and has to start from scratch and is gonna drop some cheddar on a machine no matter what, player. The other benefit is as the features get more advanced and the newer top models have more features, some of those features get sprinkled into the models below them. So over time, that has the effect of pulling up the level of even the base model machines. So I love that La Marzocco does these things. They tend to do things with the barista in mind and workflow in mind, and that really resonates with me, and that's one of the reasons that I love them as a company. That is the KB90. Shout out to Kent Baca, super big moment for him. Shout out to La Marzocco, thanks for putting on these little events and doing the whole stuff. When I say little event, does that sound diminutive? Oh, he's a cool little dude right there. What's up, little guy? So let me know what you think. Would you upgrade to this machine? Or are you gonna stick with what you have? Let me know in the comments below, and stay dialed, and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.
And again, the more that I've, talked out training and everything and showing people like, well, you have to pay attention to what your hands need to do as opposed to watching the design, because you can see something like really cool happen in the design. We're like, oh shit, I can't believe it. And then you lose it and you're like, oh, you go to shit for the rest of the pour,
Chad Baker, good to see you.